Hello everyone, welcome back to another Minetest mod review, and today we are looking at the Tombs mod, made by yours truly. So, for starters, this mod adds a variety of tombstones, 15 different shapes to be exact. Centered and offset versions. I only placed centered ones. I should have placed some that were offset too, but we'll look at that in a second. And in a variety of materials, like lots and lots of materials. For starters, let's look at how we craft one of these gravestone engravers. So it's pretty basic. You just need 6 stone, 2 steel ingots, and 1 diamond, and you just throw them together like this, and you get this nice little gravestone engraver. That looks a little something like this. It does not come with any materials in there. You have to put materials in there yourself. I just already had that in there. And then you need bones or a chisel. So either, say you're playing and you die and you have the bones mod enabled, so you have bones, and you pick those bones up and you want to commemorate's not the right word probably. You want to memorialize your death. You can take your bones and throw them in here and a material. And let's go ahead and use the wool. And then you can make a variety of different shapes. So we have just a plain old rectangle, a cross, a pointed topped rectangle, a short slanted, a short flat one, a fancy cross, staggered, a Celtic cross or Celtic cross, however you want to enunciate that depending on where in the world you're from, an obelisk, a stack of stones. That's actually this one right here. A rounded one, which is that guy right here. You can get a Sam. Yes, my friends. You can get your very own statue of yourself. You can get a 5-pointed or 6-pointed star. And an octathrope. Octathrope, that's what it is. Or more commonly known as a pound sign. Or incorrectly known as a hashtag. It's not a hashtag. It's a pound sign, but technically it's an octathrope. I learned something making this mod, so it was an educational experience for me. It's not technically a pound sign, it's technically an octathrope. And I forget what the history was for it. The octa part comes from the 8 segments, or the 8 spaces, I suppose. And I think the guy who invented it, his last name was Thrope or something. So the two were just meshed together. But anyways, yes, let's go ahead and grab one of these tombstones. Oh, actually, before we do that, we can switch. So we can have centered, or we can have offset. And we'll just take an offset one, and you'll see it takes the material and the bones. There's also a chisel available, and that can be crafted with a piece of steel and a piece of tin, and it makes this amazing looking chisel. And this will give you 50 uses. So we could make 50 tombstones before that wears out. Of course, we'd have to have 50 pieces of material in the input slot. And then these are offset versions. So as you can see here, the offsets placed towards the back side of the node they're placed on, whereas the centered ones placed in the center. Go figure, right? And we have the reason I did this offset, yes, there was a reason for it, was this. And of course, there's no flowers around, and I'm not in creative, so I can't get flowers. But let's just pretend this grass is flowers. Boom. Look at that. Just look at that. You could put some white dandelions or a tulip or a whatever other flowers are available. I can't, violets, daffodils, I don't know. There's a lot of flowers available. And you could put it, and it would look like it's placed in front of the tombstone. And all you have to do is place the tombstone from the backside. So that was my reasoning behind that. And originally it was actually going to be offset to the front, but I exported a few before I realized that it was backwards. And I was like, I'm not going to go through and change it all. So I didn't. That's not all, my friends, though. You can put a little bit of text on these. So we could have, here lies Sam. And we'll just get a nice little info text that shows up in the upper left there, right on that cloud, as we hover over it. And as we hover off, it goes away. And we can right click on it, and it just pulls it back up and we could fix a correctment. We could make a correction. Maybe Sam's actual name was Sammy, or maybe his name was actually Samuel, or maybe his name was Sammy. Wait, would Sammy be a her? I don't know. Anyway, you can change it, but only the placer can change it. So if you have a cemetery full of stones and somebody comes wandering in, they can still pull this up, I believe. No, I'm not even sure. I don't remember. But they can't change it. I know they can't change it. I do know that for a fact. But I don't remember if they can pull that screen up or not. But let's take a look at supported materials. So it supports a lot of different mods. And by default, it is turned off in your inventory, in creative inventory, all of the nodes, and I'll show you why. So we can change that by going to settings, advanced settings, mods, and there'll be one here that says tombs. So it currently has support for baked clay, cave realms, dark age, default, ethereal, geominer, and wool. And you'll see they're all enabled. And we have an option here, show nodes in creative inventory, enabled. Wait, that should be enabled. Why did that? Oh boy. Oh, because I'm not in creative. That's why. So that option defaults to false. If you want to be able to see it, you just have to go in there and change it to enabled, and then make sure you're in creative mode. And yeah. So for every single material that's supported, 30 nodes are added because there are 15 shapes and they're available in the centered and offset. Even though I'll just give myself some of these. So this is the offset stack of stones and this is the centered. And you will notice that they're both the exact same location. And that's because if it wasn't something that was a little more easy to tell the node boundaries, it's pretty much 2 pixels in from the edge of the node. And the offset versions are 2 pixels from the edge. So the offset on something that already takes up the full node, yeah, pretty much is the same. So there is no offset. But yeah, so we have acacia wood supported. And for all of these, let me just grab a chunk of acacia wood right quick. By and large, if we put the acacia in there, you'll see we get all of our nodes here. If we pull up inventory again, most of the nodes that are solid materials and use one texture are going to be supported. Dirt is not. So if I take some dirt, I don't know why that gave me 5. You'll see you can't make a dirt tombstone. You also cannot make a sand tombstone because realistically speaking, you can't really, cut dirt or sand into shapes and expect it to stay. One other thing to note is any ore supports. So, for example, you can't put a bronze block in, but you can use the bronze ingots, and that'll get you a bronze tombstone. And the same goes for all of the other metals. Any metal tombstones, the recipe is going to be an ingot, not the block. And I did this pretty much just so you didn't have to, if say you wanted to make a golden tombstone or any other metal tombstone, you didn't have to use 9 pieces of ore to make one tombstone. I thought that was a tad excessive. So I use the block texture, but the cost is only an ingot. But let's get back to the supported nodes. So we have acacia wood, we have aspen, we have the bronze, we have some clay, which technically you would have to fire, but we're not doing that. There's coal block. This one, I didn't want that. I don't remember if that uses the coal block or if it uses a lump of coal. I want to say, yes, that one uses the coal block. So for coal, you do have to craft 9 pieces of coal together to get a coal block. As you will see, you can't. Technically, a piece of coal you can cut into a shape and it will work. But if it's a lump of clay, a lump of coal, you can't like glue pieces of it together, so you couldn't really cut a shape out of that unless it was smaller than the lump. But a big block of coal you could. Now how you magically take 9 lumps and turn them into a block, I don't know, but that's the way that one works. So yeah, cobble, we have copper, we have coral. I believe the coral is only in the dead coral skeleton, because any of the colored corals, when you dig them, I believe you just get the skeleton right away, or at least when you place it, they die shortly thereafter. So it's only available in the whites. We have desert sandstone. We have desert stone. Oh yeah, you do have sandstone variants available, because that's hard packed stone that you could cut and it would hold its shape. Diamond. Now, interestingly enough, the diamond tombstones do use a diamond to make them, even though you couldn't cut a diamond. So using the same logic that I was using for coal, I shouldn't have done it this way, but I wasn't going to make somebody use 9 diamonds to make 1 tombstone. So yeah. Gold, jungle wood, mossy cobblestone, obsidian, which does use a full obsidian block, not obsidian shards. Pine wood, normal sandstone, silver sandstone, steel. Then we have stone, I believe, well, maybe not, tin, and then all of the wools, which I won't go through the colors of those because it's all of your colors that aren't in the default wool mod. So, just for funsies, there are 14 pages if you have the show and creative inventory. And it gets exponentially larger with more mods that you add that have support for it. Which is why by default this is turned off, because it would be pretty annoying to have to go through 14 pages of tombstones just to get to the page of whatever's beyond those tombstones. That was my logic and my reasoning behind it. Also, by doing this, by having them not show creative inventory, it forces people when they're playing in creative to still build the machine and use a tool and do all that stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it. As you can tell, if it's not a supported material, you can't put in the material slot, and your bones or chisels will only accept bones or chisels. Go figure, right? And yeah, that's about it. I'm still adding support for other mods, so if there's any mods you want to see support for, just let me know, and I'll see if I can make it happen. But that's gonna wrap this one up. So thanks for watching. Links in the video description, and yeah, tune in next week for another video, and I will catch you then.